Star Wars Battlefront 2 is probably in the discussion for the most controversial, rough release of all time. The loot box controversy of 2017, shall we call it loot box gate, was an absolute disaster and really brought into the limelight the dangers of gambling mechanics in gaming. Now, when this game released, it was a massive disappointment to pretty much everyone who was excited for it. I am personally in that camp. I was covering Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes at the time. I was 100% gung-ho about covering Battlefront, and with the controversy, I shied away from covering the game because I was just worried about inviting that kind of negativity onto my channel with what was going on in the game. Fast forward to 2019, however, and it is mind-blowing to me that this game is where it is at today. Given where Battlefront 2 started, given the absolute storm the game started with, it is now a game that is in a very, very solid place. How did this happen, and should you be playing Battlefront 2? I'm going to talk about at least 5 reasons why I think you should give Battlefront 2 a second chance. I am personally super glad that I did. And now, for those of you who are here for Battlefront 2 content, I am going to be regularly covering this game. I would invite you to subscribe to the channel if that interests you. And all my Galaxy of Heroes fans, don't worry, still going to be covering that game plenty. But I'm super amped about Battlefront 2 lately, and I think all of you should be too. And so let's get into the reasons why. Starting with number 1, the devs have virtually erased all pay-to-win mechanics from the game. This is incredibly refreshing to me, especially at the beginning of the game. One of the most expensive characters was Darth Vader, and you literally had to whale to get the character. All of the characters had some kind of monetization behind them to unlock, except for a few that came unlocked. Now, in today's environment, all of the heroes are immediately accessible to you, and the only way that you're going to get better is by playing the game. What a novel concept! You play the game to get better at the game. You don't get into your wallet to get better at a game. It's really crazy that that would be the way that devs manage a game, but that's what DICE has moved towards. Now, one could make an argument they didn't have a choice. It's the only way they could have saved the game, and that may be, but to me, I don't care. That's what we've got today. That's what we deserve, and the game is better for it. I mean, look, I downloaded the game, re-downloaded it for the first time in 2 years, almost a year and a half since the game released. I hadn't progressed at all because I downloaded the game first on PlayStation 4, and now I download it on PC, so I didn't have my previous progress there. I jumped into a multiplayer match. I was able to compete day one, no star cards on any of my characters, and I was able to compete with players who were end game day one, having not spent a dime or spent an ounce of time in the game. Now, of course, those star card upgrades are great, and I'm definitely working towards them. They definitely do help, but they're not monetized. You need to play the game in order to upgrade those characters. So this game is effectively not pay to win, and I love it. The second reason you should be playing Battlefront in 2019 is because the devs care about their game. I love seeing a dev team that really cares about their game, and you can see that in the work that DICE is putting out. Now, this isn't just in the form of updates, it's also the quality of updates. Capital Supremacy is an amazing game, what I'm going to talk about a little bit more. We just got the Droidicas this last week, and they look amazing. They look absolutely amazing. Also, the devs are actively and aggressively pursuing community feedback, both on the forums and on Reddit, more than I've ever seen before in a game. I'm sure there's other games where devs have been really active in the communities, but in the games that I've played, I haven't seen quite this level of interest in receiving community feedback. It is very clear to me, in just a little bit of time in this game, that the devs really look at the Battlefront as their baby, and they are actively pursuing making it as solid as possible. And you can really see that when these updates hit, how beautiful they look. I mean, just looking at some of these maps. I was playing a Geonosis map recently, and I was just looking at the landscape thinking, oh my gosh, I am in Star Wars. Most of you want to play Battlefront because you're a big Star Wars fan, and if you're not playing it now because of the controversy that happened earlier, I highly recommend you give it a second chance, because without that controversy affecting the game nowadays, The game is just so beautiful and fun to experience. Reason number 3 on my list is Capital Supremacy. It's dope, okay? Capital Supremacy is freaking dope. This is going to send you all the way back to the original Battlefronts. It really reminds me of a game mode there. And also, I don't play Battlefield 5, but I know a lot of you Battlefield fans have said that it's very similar to that. And this is where you're basically just going to have different outposts that your team has to go capture. And it's this tug of war kind of thing where you're on the ground level, and then whoever wins on the ground, you go up and try to basically blow up the enemy's capital ship. And all of these maps, they just recently added a new Naboo map, are just absolutely stunning maps. You can see the capital ships above you, which is just, I don't know what it is about that, but it just feels super cool. It's 40 players on the map. It's just an all-out brawl, and I've just had so much fun playing this game mode in particular. I think it's a very, very solid add to this game and something that I can personally play for hours and hours and hours. The only weakness of this game mode is they only have Clone Wars in it. And now, Clone Wars is amazing, don't get me wrong. We've got 4 maps for Clone Wars now. We've got one on Kashyyyk, one on Kamino, one on Geonosis, and now a new one on Naboo that just came out in Theed. We need to have more eras on Capital Supremacy. I think there's a really good chance we could get that. But going forward, this, even though it's just Clone Wars, is enough for me. I'm super thrilled about this game mode. Can't get enough of it. Now, speaking of Capital Supremacy, reason number 4 you should be playing Battlefront 2 in 2019 is the multiplayer online environment is absolutely fantastic. There is a lot of people still playing this game, and typically I don't have very many issues with matchmaking, finding a match. There are days, there are moments just like there are with any game, but I've had a very easy time getting into matches and having a lot of fun. Also, they have a lot built into the game now to help you really enjoy this with friends. For example, you can spawn on your friends. If you're in a group, you can have a group of up to 4. And so you can spawn on your friends on the battlefront, and so it's really easy to enjoy the game with your friends consistently, even when somebody makes a dumb move and gets sniped. And then finally, reason number 5 is that the progression system for this game just makes sense to me. Like I said already, all of the heroes are unlocked, and the way to progress in this game is to play the game. I played several matches before I really understood how the progression system works, and I didn't realize that I already had a lot of crafting materials so that I could upgrade my characters. For example, I'm showing footage right now of me going through and upgrading my officer class, and the way that you do this is you unlock star cards based on when you get to certain levels from playing that player. So the more that you play that character, you level up the character, and the higher that character's level is, the more star cards become available to you. And then from there, you just use skill points, which you also earn from matches that you can upgrade those star cards on to customize your character a bit. These star cards are great, and they definitely make the character stronger, but I also think it's pretty balanced to where if you don't have a star card, you're not screwed. It's not like they're so OP that you can't possibly compete with somebody who has all their star cards upgraded. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd rather have them, and I care about this game enough that I'm going to play the hell out of it until I get every single star card. But for now, I think it's a really good balance between having these star cards make a difference, make an impact, but if you're not good enough, you're still going to be able to get sniped by somebody who has no star cards. Ultimately, this progression system just makes sense to me. Ladies and gentlemen, you have everything. You can play with everything on day 1. The only thing you need to worry about is upgrading what you love, and you upgrade what you love by playing a game that you love, which is a beautiful Star Wars game that gives you all of the Star Wars feels, and in my opinion, every Star Wars fan should be playing it. So, anyone who's playing Battlefront 2, let me know down in the comments below, and especially those of you who are new to this channel, I'd love for you to say hi as well. Tell me if you are new to the Cubs Fan On channel, if you just subscribed, and I promise you, I will love your comment. I will love it. What do you guys think about Battlefront 2? Let me know down in the comments below, and what kind of Battlefront 2 content would you like to see? I am 100% open to feedback on that, and I will do my best to cover the game in the way that you guys want. Thanks again for joining me for the video, my friends, and as always, my brothers, don't forget
my dead body. Sorry about the mess.